This is Lords of the Fallen, the 2.0 update. We're here on PlayStation 5 Pro. Be sure to like the video, subscribing is great as well. That is quite a sight. So anyways, this is actually a very heresy purged. This is actually a very big update for the game. It is a cooperative focused update. It adds some crazy quality of life improvements. We had already checked out basically Lords of the Fallen on the PlayStation 5 Pro where it was enhanced. So from a technical standpoint, it's about the same experience, but at the same time, it really has opened up in some exciting ways and some really great ways if you want to play with a friend. So we're going to be diving in and talking about that over the course of this as we go over all of the exciting updates and changes to this game. I just want to first off say, and I'll probably reiterate that a few times through as we go through this, just amazing support from the developers. Like, absolutely an incredible post-launch support for this game. It's had over 50 post-launch updates, and this is just like, this in itself is a massive improvement to the quality of the experience and how you engage in it with others. So it might sound a bit weird, but the most exciting thing here is the focus on co-op play. So they have refined the co-op in this so that you can actually play it basically with another player in a more native, regular way. So the multiplayer in this one could be a little wonky at times in terms of like getting people in, and it was sort of a passive thing, sort of like Dark Souls. But they're like, you know what? Let's just have people be able to play with each other. And that's what they've basically done. So they've introduced full shared progression for co-op, both players. You now save everything together. So it's mainline progress, you can revive each other, there's loot sharing, and then there's also this really, really cool thing called the Free Friends Pass. So no matter what platform your friend is on, where they're playing, if you own the game, your pal can play with you for free. So it's sort of like if you played Split Fiction, or if you played It Takes Two. I think I went the wrong way out of this door. If you've played either of those options with people, you know, like one of you buys it, and then the other can just download it for free, and you can play it together. And it's so cool that that exists. No, that is just incredible bang for your buck. You'll be like, well, you know, it's coming out a bit later after launch. Most people that really wanted to play it, you know, they kind of got it. But I think this is a genuinely great way for if you had a friend that like was kind of curious about this game, you've said good things about it. Now you can just have them come and check it out for free. Again, like they literally, if you've bought it, you own it, you just have them come in and enjoy the experience for no cost. And I think that in itself is... again, truly great value, especially if you've got a pal. And it's good for the company, too, because your pal might like it, want to buy it themselves. I think that is absolutely fantastic, and I love that they've added that in here. Hello there. I can fix her. I can totally fix this lady. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Upgrade my thing, my lady. Thank you, my dear, with the blood of the power of the Lord. Oh. I give you everything, my dear. You are perfect. Peter, you're everything to me. Anyway. Anyways, let's press on. So this is a Souls-like experience. I think you might be familiar with it to some degree. We're going to be talking about the other new features. We're going to be talking about all the details, but I kind of want to just quickly go over like the visual side of things. So the game has 2 graphical modes. They have worked to improve all the modes across the experiences since launch, but obviously this was PS5 Pro Enhanced, and this game was one of those games where I was like, wow, this is a nice quality of life improvement over the base version of the game. So for graphics, we have performance, we have quality. So we're just going to make a change to quality mode so you can see that there. And we'll talk about quality first. So quality is now a native 4K at 30 FPS. And there's HDR. It's got ray tracing, you know, your lighting, your luminescence. Anyways, yeah, the way the world looks. It's actually quite lovely. And yeah, 4K 30, you know, it's sort of like, oh yeah, I want this game to look really good. I want it to look crisp. I can handle the lower frame rate. You know, totally cool for you. I think the game looks beautiful here. I'm theorizing down the road with PS6. PlayStation 6 might be able to, you know, uncap this and go to 4K 60 full, but you know, I think even the difference, like, you could definitely notice a difference between the full 4K and then the temporal thing, but it's not too bad, honestly, going to performance mode. But I just want you to kind of, like, soak it in, and, you know, the PlayStation 5 Pro enhancement for this was pretty top-notch. So we're just going to go back, because, you know, playing this game, I gotta have my performance mode on. But there's also things like motion blur, film grain, the Umbral distortion effects. There's some other gameplay mechanics, too, that you can adjust, but, you know, that's going to be on you and your particular setup. So for performance mode, obviously we're dropping the we're gonna drop the resolution to get a higher frame rate. It's amazing how it's just like it's kind of similar enough. They get away with it well. So what it is, it's an internal 1440p at 60 FPS, and it's being taken to 4K. So they have their own temporal scaling solution in order to achieve that, which I think, like, for me, the results here for performance mode, like, if you've been playing this on the base PlayStation 5, I think this is like a pretty night and day difference in terms of, like, fidelity, going from something that's a lot more blurry to actually seeing all of the details in the environment. Like, usually Unreal Engine 5 games really suffer from, like, oh, you're okay, I'm so sorry, my bad, that's a buyer, my bad. You know, I'm so used to guys, like, throwing me off ledges here. I'm used to these games looking really, really blurry when you play the UE5 games. But, like, that's the magic of the Pro, is just that little bit of extra overhead is just enough to really allow us to actually have a level of clarity and fidelity within this world. You are really kind of annoying me here. And that is the biggest difference, is just, like, it looks like you can actually see the detail in the world and the characters. Speaking of that, brand new character creator. Yeah. New options, new customizations, new adjustments, which I don't really kind of see the point in. I mean, you're wearing... Hi there. You know, you're wearing, like, a suit of armor. I guess you could take the armor off if you wanted to, you could, like, unequipped, and, you know, like, there is, you know, there's the character creator stuff, but it's like, you're wearing your armor so you don't get killed in that, and, well, killed as much, it's a Souls-like, right, but... Yeah, auto vigor has been added, improved combat audio, so it kind of sounds a little bit better, and the DualSense plays like little things as you're moving around or clanking your sword and stuff, so it's a nice little bit of extra immersion there. Another big change is the combat has been overhauled. So, I guess it's not necessarily combat, but the game now has a dedicated jump button, so you could actually, like... The platforming was a bit of a pain. It was very janky when this came out. So to me, that is a massive improvement, is the fact that this now has a dedicated jump button. I know that sounds kind of weird and stupid, but, like, there were quite a few deaths I had that were really, really frustrating, because I would go to jump and, like, it was so hard to, like, line up, and you just fling yourself off the ledge, and you'd be like, really? Like, you know, like, it didn't feel like it was my fault, and I don't like that, especially in a game that's, like, really frustrating, because it's a Souls-like, right, where it's like, oh, you know, you're meant to die a lot in this game. That drives me crazy, so to have that fixed up, I think, is really, really quite awesome. Then we also have, like I said, combat. So, the combat overhaul, it just really changes the way your character kind of, like, slashes. I'm kind of having a hard time sort of fully getting it across, I think. But, like, just the way you move has been completely refined. It feels a lot less wonky. Like, this game was something where I was like, oh, it's got a bit of a jank to it in terms of, like, combat. And now it feels a lot smoother and a lot more refined. And I think that in itself is a wonderful improvement, actually, getting this sort of movement system that feels way better. Like, it genuinely feels like an upgrade, just because it is so much more smooth. Like, and it feels like things connect better and they lock better. I should also mention, because I was trying to go over all the quality of life improvements and everything like that, this is a dual world, so the thing that makes this Souls game interesting is you essentially are melded between two universes, so there's like an underlying universe, and I'll probably die in a bit and show it off, but if you're not familiar with the game, of course, maybe the 2.0 updates get you into it because your friend's trying to invite you to play it. Which I say, you know, if you like Souls-likes and stuff like that, worth checking out. Especially if you can join your buddy's friend pass or something, you know, no cost. It's like, that's awesome. But yeah, it's basically like this second world, and you can use it to get into places. Not this one. But sometimes you can use it to get into places that you couldn't previously enter, and it's like basically a dual running world between two worlds, and that's really, really quite exciting. You were a decoy? You were a decoy to get the other guy to kill me. Not cool. Not cool. But yeah, this already helps for platform. Like, just imagine this, but it was kind of like Auto started doing it. And it was just like, yeah, this makes a big, big difference. And if you are jumping in here fresh for the first time, they've revamped the tutorial. I accidentally went through that when I was playing it on the Series X. I accidentally like leaped into the tutorial area. It is actually, I think, a little bit better and more clear on what you're doing and what you can use. And they've also integrated tooltips into the game. Like, I've been getting reminded about how to do basic stuff, but I mean, it's changed, right? Because it's a new setup. So yeah, just kind of something to mention there. And a UI overhaul, so it's a little bit more clear. So you can see the bottom right corner there, kind of clearly labels some of the extra abilities and stuff you have. And your Umbral, I think it's Umbral lamp can now guide you to the next place you kind of need to go to a degree, which makes a big difference so you don't really get as lost. Like, the game is kind of linear. I call them fabled type hub worlds, where it's like, yeah, it's kind of open, but it really isn't. Like, you're mostly going through linear paths, but I can definitely see how you kind of get lost at times, and you're just like, huh? And basically that will allow you to more easily know where you're going, or where, I guess the biggest thing is where the next checkpoint, I don't know if I call them checkpoints, but the next, like, weird little creepy thing that you put your hand on to do your stuff with, where the next one of the next Umbral plot is, and that helps a lot. But yeah, this 2.0 update, pretty spectacular, is what I want to get across. Like, I think this is a huge change up for the game. I was kind of like, this isn't one I necessarily go back to for every update, if that makes sense. But I think that should show just kind of how impressive this update is, how impressed I am by this update, that I was like, hey, I should come back here and take a look at this. Because I do think it is a genuine improvement over what we've had, and I think a lot of people are going to be really happy about it and want to take a look at this game and see what it's like. Now, combat, everything like that, way better, I definitely think. And then, you know, it's still little drops here or there in performance, which I guess is just, to me, it's a bit of an expected jank, but, you know, all to their own. But it runs pretty well, I would say. I don't think you're gonna have too many problems jumping in and playing this one. Can we go that way? I don't think we can. I don't think we can go. Can we get over that way? One second. I'm just gonna take a look. I've already done this whole part here, but I'm trying to think of your guys, your gal or whatever you got, whatever you made. Limited limited jumping ability, but just seriously, I don't know how to really describe how much better it is having like a little, like, more of a you could choose where you jump kind of thing. Yeah, it makes a big difference being able to pick where you are actually jumping to, which I think is really, really neat and super helpful. Why is this blocked off? Is this can I not go this way? Oh no. Oh no. Why are you like that? Why are you like this to me? Am I supposed to, like... Oh, I see. I'm supposed to, like, drop down, and then I can continue. See, it's a neat mechanic, like, doing this, and... You know, like, it is a genuinely fascinating mechanic, because it lets you get places. And my mind never thinks about it. You know, because you got to get, like, into the vibe of playing the game. Like, if you take time off and you come back to it, you're like, what am I doing wrong? And then you're like, oh, yeah. I'm gonna have to enter the ethereal, or the Umbral world. Which I don't love, because it's like really sickly looking and stuff. But I mean, it's a cool vibe, but yeah, there's always all this stuff trying to like kill you when you come in here and that. And it's kind of like if you played Mortal Shell, it's sort of like it acts as your second life almost. Like when you die, you come back. If that makes sense. In this, like, well, you don't come back, but you get to keep living as... Oh, come on. You get to keep living this life, which I think is quite neat. So there you go. And there's obviously bosses and other Souls-like things that you have to kill and all this, you know, grotesque stuff and things. And then there's, like, you know, deep lore and whatever that you discover as you go around in this. Is there something here that I was supposed to get? I can't remember. It's all this creepy stuff. There's so many, like, little side things you can find yourself kind of getting, you know, lost in as you go between worlds. It's just nice to have it, like, not look, again, fuzzy. Oh, there's the Skyrest Key Bridge. Nice. So we can finally get into that place we've been trying to get into. Really? Aha! We'll go look up here first, but we can go back. We can open that door and get through because we got the sky key thing. But yeah, it's a very beautiful kind of thing. It's got like a very specific styling to it. As I said, if you've played, you know, like your Dark Souls-like stuff, I feel like this is more in line with a traditional Dark Souls game, like the earlier ones. I can't get in this way? Of course not. You know, windy stuff, unlocking things, doing big boss fights. I didn't have a lot of confidence in the showing this off, but I would have started, like, if you kind of saw the start of the video, it's actually the end of the first major boss fight. I thought it looked really cool, but I was like, I didn't have the confidence to know if I was going to beat the boss, but I beat the boss on my first try, and I was like, yes! But I was also like, oh, I should have filmed that, but nobody wants to watch a video where I'm getting slaughtered by a boss over and over again while trying to talk about the game. Also hard to concentrate if that's the case, too, right? But yeah, I think this game just has a really good, like, sort of beauty to it, and it comes alive on the PlayStation 5 Pro. It really does. Like, you could actually see the details and the quality of the world, and yeah, I think it makes a massive difference here. In this 2.0 update, like, I think I say this sometimes when we come across updates, but there really is never, like, there never has been a better time to come and try out this game and play it and see it, especially if you could play with a buddy. I think that in itself is a very cool and rewarding experience, to be able to play this with a friend. I think it makes a big difference, especially if, you know, your friend doesn't have to pay to play with you, or you don't have to pay to play with your buddy. I think that is pretty sweet, right? Like, that's a good deal. But it also depends on your interest if you want to play Souls-like. I would say as far as Souls-like games go, they have made this one a lot more accessible. Like, I never really thought this one was too ridiculously difficult, but there was some difficulty to it. But I think they have... I think they have genuinely done some good stuff to this one in terms of making it better. So I think you will probably like playing this. I don't know. It really depends on the type of, you know, type of individual you are, and whether or not you fall into the Souls-like thing. I mean, I've gone over all the details in regards to, like, what's new and stuff like that, and covered it all, so you have an idea of what's changed. Like, seriously stacked level of improvements. I didn't anticipate that I would be coming back and playing this again, but it was like, yeah, no, this is definitely an update I should check out. And this is the type of updates that I'm like, yes, this is the type of thing I should be revisiting and chatting about and showcasing, because it does make such a big difference to people's engagement with the game and enjoyment of it, and, you know, just quality of life stuff is just absolutely exciting. I believe they're also working on a third one, or, well, a sequel to this. Like, if you don't know, there's actually, like, a Lords of the Fallen from, like, 2014 or something. It's got the same name, but, like, it's kind of like the same universe too, but it's sort of, this is like a reboot of that one, if that makes any sense. And yeah, kind of neat, right?